One of the biggest differences between big businesses and small businesses is that the big businesses, they have a range. They have multiple employees and they have the money to spend on marketing. This means that they can even spread their reach across a lot of different dimensions in the online world. Let's take Nike for example, okay? So this company, they're easily present on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and even TikTok. It really doesn't matter what the platform is, as long as their audience is there, this company has the funds and the time to expand. And more importantly, they can sink equal resources into growing their brand and engagement on all of the platforms that they're present on. They don't have to sacrifice one platform for the other. Their Facebook page doesn't necessarily suffer because they're trying to build their Instagram page. It's the direct opposite for small businesses and entrepreneurs. And I totally get it. In all of my years as a small business owner, I can count the number of small business owners that I have met who are focused on maintaining a presence on more than 2 social media platforms. There are very few who even try to maintain presence on 2 platforms. Most of them, they choose one platform and they hope that their audience is there to be met. What this sadly means is that small businesses have a very, very narrow reach. Of course, this is not a big fault of their own. They're small businesses, of course. And after all, they don't have the social media budgets that these big companies have. So if you are starting out and you are considering opening several social media apps and want to push your business on all of them at the same time, I suggest you shelve that plan for just a little bit. You may do it if you want to become a full-time social media manager, but then you won't have time to be an entrepreneur. But if you want to have time for your business, you need to understand that you can only really target maybe 1-2 platforms at a time, okay? And that brings us to the important question right now. What app should you pay attention to? What app should you choose as your social media stomping ground? I want to say there are so many good options, but I don't want that to overwhelm you because there is. In my world, it's a lot of options, but for me, it's between Facebook and Instagram with a little bit of sprinkling of YouTube and podcasting in there. But I've been at this for a while now. Instagram and Facebook have been there for me since day one. But for you, someone who may not be so immersed in the online world as I am, the dilemma really is less about how many online places you need to show up on and more about what social platform you should be showing up on. Which one would be great for the kind of audience that you are looking for your business? Which one makes it easier for your business to grow? What is the reach that they have? How about ads? Those are all important questions that I want you to think about. And in this episode, I'll be answering them all and more hopefully for you. So let's kick this party off by talking about Facebook. Most people know Facebook as a social media platform, but it's more than just a social media platform. Facebook is a social media giant, one that has evolved from a simple online networking site to a social networking powerhouse. Since coming online in 2004, Facebook has gone a long way and really has revolutionized how we communicate online. Did you know that the word timeline became popular after Mark Zuckerberg introduced it as a replacement for the famous wall Facebook feature? Well, now you do. Whereas Instagram is essentially started because it was a photo sharing app. That is now the most second popular social media platform globally. In fact, a couple months ago, they put out a statement that says that they're no longer just a photo sharing app. It was intentionally launched in 2010 exclusively for iOS as an image-centric social platform. The big change happened when Instagram removed its restrictions to go non-square. So today, Instagram has established itself as this go-to app for businesses worldwide, and it is now more than a photo sharing app. They are completely different apps though, okay? And did you know that Facebook actually owns Instagram? They are designed and people behave differently on them. One thing that pulls Facebook apart from any other platform is the community. Facebook goes to great lengths to really get people to have similar interests together. That's probably why the platform's motto is actually bringing people closer together. On Facebook, you can be in a group with former classmates, family members, neighbors, age groups, fans of the same club. The possibilities are literally endless. These groups or these communities, they have their distinct timeliness and can give users a really unique experience. While Instagram does let you build communities, the experience isn't as in-depth as it is on Facebook. And instead of you allowing you to, let's say, build communities based on common experiences, like attending the same school or living in the same area, Instagram allows you to build communities based on common interests, likes, tech, pecs, politics, so on, whatever your likes are. The community aspect of Instagram is limited though, and the more focused around direct messages. So if you are selling a product or a service that depends on building a community of people with shared experiences, Facebook might be the app for you. Community is a huge piece of the puzzle in the online world. Well, actually, even in person, community is key for businesses. One company that I really think that does the community aspect well is Lululemon. It doesn't matter if they're online or offline. They are constantly connecting with people worldwide. The community is amazing, but let's also look at the reach, okay? This is probably the most important metric to pay attention to. Facebook is a lot older than Instagram, so it's natural for the app to have more users. Still to this day, it has more active users than Instagram, and it's a dominant player among the networking communities. The stats speak for themselves, okay? Facebook has 2.38 billion monthly active users. That's almost a third of the world's population. When compared to that, Instagram looks small. Even though Instagram has 1 billion monthly active users, it still doesn't compare to Facebook. But of that 1 billion users, 500 million make use of Instagram stories daily. That's an incredible concentration of users that could be targeted if you play your cards right. More importantly, 83% of marketers say that they use Facebook as part of their brand social strategy, while only about 77% say the same about Instagram. So you should also know that about 65 million small businesses have Facebook pages, and in my opinion, that number isn't at all accurate. The popularity of Facebook means that many small businesses would be pressured into having presence on the platform despite even being active. And if you're based in the US, you should know that Instagram has an incredible concentration on American users, since about 37% of them are from America. This gross number clearly shows that Facebook is ahead of Instagram, especially regarding the number of people that can be potentially reached through it. However, Instagram's numbers, especially when it comes to engagement, they cannot be ignored. These numbers don't necessarily tell the whole story though. When choosing a social media platform to focus on, you need to ensure that your audience will be waiting for you there. So for example, you wouldn't necessarily want to settle on a platform where the median age of users is around 40, while the median age of your customers is around 25, let's say. Now, according to available data, most of Instagram's active users are pretty young people. A majority of its users are below 30, while a huge chunk of that number is usually in their teens. One of the reasons why younger people like Instagram is because the app makes it easier to follow trends and really form trends as well. It's easier to get things to go viral on Instagram than Facebook, and this feature is very attractive to the younger demographics. But if you're targeting younger people, Instagram is for you. However, if you're more interested in the older clientele, Facebook is the platform to focus on. Of course, there are young people on Facebook too, but most of the users are older people. So for example, the average Facebook user in America is around 40 years old. It's not enough to have numbers when it comes to reach, because it doesn't really matter how many people you can reach if there's a low chance of engagement. And that's one area where Instagram is comfortably better than Facebook, is the engagement. A social media engagement study reported that brands see a median engagement rate of 0.09% per Facebook post compared to 1.6% on Instagram posts. This data shows a sizable difference between the two networks for campaign benchmarking for you. But you don't even have to look at that data. A lot of big businesses with pages on Facebook have very low interaction levels compared to the interactions that they're getting on Instagram accounts. Honestly, when it's the exact same post. However, you should know that you won't always get higher engagements with Instagram than Facebook. For instance, Instagram prefers or really performs better on photos, whereas Facebook is usually for the text side of things. Now, when you are comparing both of them, you need to consider how your audience is actually consuming your information before choosing which platform to settle on. More images and videos or more text-based. Now, when it comes to ads, Facebook has to be the gold standard. All the way Facebook ads. First of all, it gives you more options for targeted ads, while Instagram is a little bit more simplified. But this isn't a bad thing, as it helps newbies really get ahead faster. Since Facebook and Instagram belong to the exact same company, there isn't too much difference between both of them when you're looking at the ad aspect of it. The Ad Manager is an amazing tool that allows a high level of flexibility with Facebook and Instagram ads. However, you should know that there are certain options or metrics that you'll be able to set with Facebook that you won't be able to set on Instagram. So if you are the type who's looking to talk to a particular group of people, Facebook might be the place for you. Now, this comparison is really useless if I don't talk about the functionality of both platforms. Facebook is largely informational. It's where you go to find out information about a company or a brand. Facebook, it's also very, very driven by text. That's why creating a Facebook profile really requires inputting a lot of information and creating a comprehensive profile, where Instagram isn't like that at all. Instead of capturing information like Facebook, Instagram is more about specific moments. People don't go to Instagram to find out information about a brand or a company simply because they may not find it there. Instead, they would be there to engage with your brand, to watch reels, to comment on interesting photos, to really enjoy the moment with you, to live with you even though they're not actually standing beside you. But as I said, they are used completely differently and been used by different people. So let's actually get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's talk about what platform you should choose for your business, okay? Between Facebook and Instagram, that's what I want to focus on right now. It really largely depends on what kind of business you actually run. If your customers are mostly younger people, then Instagram should be your first choice. But if you're looking to target older people, you'll find a lot more of them on Facebook. So if you're going to be releasing a lot of picture content, then Instagram is the platform for you because it was tailor-made for pictures. However, if most of your content will come from text, you should consider Facebook. In the end, really, it's your choice. But I believe that when you look at the two comparisons that I've made here today, you'll come to a pretty good decision on what platform your business should be using. But as always, friends, if you learned something new today, do me a favor, like this episode. Share with those who may be struggling with what platform they should be on. And finally, subscribe to my channel for more content like this and be a part of this amazing entrepreneur community. My name's Lisa Ann, and that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.